Oh my god, he actually replied.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
This is crazy. Is everything okay?
Yeah, just a quick work thing. Sorry.
You and your phone. This is much better.
Shish, it's okay, Liam, she whispered, though her voice trembled. The baby's cries were thin but persistent. He was hungry. Maya hadn't slept properly in weeks. Dark circles framed her once bright hazel eyes. At 26, she looked closer to 35. Life had aged her quickly. She hadn't planned to be a single mother. Liam's father had left the moment he found out she was pregnant. Promises dissolved into silence. Phone calls unanswered. Messages ignored. By the time Liam was born, Maya had already learned the first hard lesson of motherhood: sometimes you have to be both parents. She worked part-time at a diner, taking double shifts whenever she could. But the diner had closed temporarily for renovations. Just 2 weeks, the manager had said. 2 weeks without income felt like 2 years. Her savings were gone. Rent was overdue. The electricity bill sat on the kitchen counter like a silent threat. But tonight, none of that mattered as much as the nearly empty container of baby formula in her hand. She tipped it upside down and shook it gently. Powder dusted into the bottle. Not enough. Please, she murmured, scraping the bottom with a spoon. She managed to prepare half a bottle, barely enough to quiet him for an hour. Her phone buzzed on the table. She rushed to it, heart pounding, hoping for a miracle. It was a text from her older sister, Jenna. Sorry, May, I don't get paid till Friday. I'm broke too. Maya closed her eyes. She had already asked everyone she knew. Her parents had passed away years ago. Jenna had 3 kids of her own. Friends were struggling. Neighbors were kind but equally tight on money. Maya stared at her contact list, scrolling aimlessly. She opened her messages and began typing to someone she had saved as Marcus. Old work. Marcus had once been a regular at the diner, a friendly, well-dressed man who always tipped generously. They'd talked a few times about life, about ambition, about second chances. He had once said, "If you ever need advice about business, let me know." She didn't remember giving him her number, but somehow they had exchanged contacts months ago when he offered to help her look over a resume. In her exhaustion and desperation, she began typing. Hi Marcus, I'm really sorry to bother you. This is Maya from the diner. I wouldn't ask if I had any other option. I'm short on money and my baby is out of formula. Is there any chance you could lend me $40? I'll pay you back as soon as I can. Her fingers hovered. Shame burned her cheeks. She almost deleted it, but Liam began crying again. She closed her eyes and hit send. The message whooshed away into the digital void. Seconds later, her stomach dropped. She hadn't sent it to Marcus. She had sent it to a number saved simply as M. Grant. Her heart raced. M. Grant wasn't Marcus. M. Grant was the contact she had saved months ago from a news article interview request. She had once filled out a customer survey at the diner, and somehow ended up on a mailing list that included the office of Maxwell Grant. Maxwell Grant, the billionaire tech entrepreneur, one of the richest men in the country. She stared at her phone in horror. Oh no, 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 no. Why had she saved that number? Why hadn't she deleted it? Her mind spiraled. This was humiliating. He would think she was some scammer. Or worse, someone trying to exploit his wealth. She quickly typed another message. I'm so sorry. That message wasn't meant for you. Please ignore it. She threw the phone onto the couch and pressed her palms against her face. Minutes passed. Then her phone buzzed. Her heart nearly stopped. She stared at the screen. A reply. From M. Grant. I believe this message was meant for someone else. However, no mother should have to worry about feeding her child. Where can I send the money? Maya blinked. She read it again, and again. It had to be fake. Her hands shook as she typed back. I'm really sorry for the confusion. I didn't mean to text you. I don't want charity. The response came quickly. This isn't charity. It's help. There's a difference. Please send me your payment details. Tears welled in her eyes. She hesitated only a moment before sending her digital payment account. Within 30 seconds, her phone chimed. $1,000 received. She gasped. There had to be a mistake. She typed frantically. That's too much. I only needed $40. The reply. Buy formula. Buy groceries. Pay your bills. And please don't apologize for surviving. Maya sank to the floor, sobbing, not out of sadness, but relief. That night, Liam drank a full bottle and fell asleep peacefully. Maya watched him, her heart overwhelmed with gratitude toward a man she had never met. The next morning, She woke to another message. I hope your son is doing well today. She smiled. He is. Thank you. I don't know how to repay you. A pause. Then, maybe someday you won't need to. Tell me about yourself, Maya. She hesitated. Why would a billionaire want to know about her life? Still, she replied. She told him about the diner. About her parents. About her dream of starting a small baking business someday. She loved baking. It was the one thing that made her feel creative and hopeful. Hours later, his response surprised her. Why not start now? She laughed bitterly and typed back. Because ovens cost money, ingredients cost money, licenses cost money, life costs money. The reply came after several minutes. Send me your business plan. She stared at the screen. I don't have one. Then make one. The following week was a blur. Between caring for Liam and picking up temporary shifts at another cafe, Maya stayed up late drafting a simple baking business idea. She researched cottage food laws. She calculated ingredient costs. She outlined potential revenue from selling homemade pastries online. She almost didn't send it. But she did. 2 days later, her phone rang. An unfamiliar number. She answered cautiously. Hello, is this Maya Thompson? A deep voice asked. Yes, this is Maxwell Grant. Her breath caught. His voice was calm, steady, not cold or arrogant as she had imagined. I read your plan, he said. It's simple, but it's honest. I like that. She didn't know what to say. I'd like to invest, he continued. Her heart pounded. Invest? I fund startups all the time. Usually tech companies. But sometimes, I invest in people. Silence filled the line. I don't want to owe you, she whispered. You won't, he said gently. It's not a loan, it's equity. I'll own a small percentage. You build the business. Tears threatened again. Why? She asked softly. There was a pause. Because 10 years ago, my mother was you. Maya swallowed. She raised me alone. Worked 2 jobs. Struggled to feed me. One stranger helped her once. It changed everything. I promised myself I'd do the same if I ever could. The world felt suddenly bigger and smaller at the same time. 3 months later, Maya's kitchen smelled like vanilla and cinnamon at all hours. With Maxwell's funding, she had purchased a commercial-grade oven, registered her home bakery, Liam's Little Loaves, and built a simple website. Orders trickled in at first. Then surged. Her cinnamon rolls went viral after a local food blogger featured them. Parents loved her story. Customers loved her pastries even more. Maxwell never interfered. He offered advice occasionally, encouragement often. They texted regularly. Not just about business. About life. About fears. About hope. He asked for photos of Liam growing. She sent them proudly. One evening, nearly a year after that accidental text, Maya stood in a small storefront she had just leased. A real bakery, with windows and a sign in a future. Her phone buzzed. Grand opening tomorrow, he texted. Yes, she replied. You should come. A pause. I will. The next morning, the line stretched down the block. Neighbors, families, curious customers. Maya wore a simple blue dress, flour dust still on her hands. Then a black car pulled up quietly. A tall man stepped out. No cameras, no security parade, just Maxwell Grant. He looked normal. He walked inside, smiling slightly. Congratulations, he said. She stared at him. You're real. He laughed softly. And you're extraordinary. The room buzzed with excitement, but for a moment, it felt like just the two of them. She handed him a warm cinnamon roll. On the house, she said. I'm technically part owner, he replied. She smiled. Then consider it a dividend. He took a bite and nodded approvingly. You built this, he said quietly. Not me. You started it, she replied. No, he said gently. You did, the moment you chose not to give up. That night, after the grand opening ended and the shop was quiet, Maya sat behind the counter holding Liam, who giggled at the crumpled bakery receipts in her hand.